What's up, guys? It's your favorite Q coach. Today we got a great analysis. We got a player who's definitely struggling with pulls to the left. He also hits hooks to the left, and he also sometimes gets some blocks, not too often, but let's kind of dive into it. So first off, let's just address that the camera angle is shifted off to the left, so I'm not going to be able to draw too many angles here. I'm probably not going to talk about that too much. This whole analysis is going to be super simple. It's really going to highlight one little thing in this guy's golf swing. Maybe talk a little bit about the pivot, but really, realistically, we're just going to talk about grip and then club face. So let's run this player up to, we'll take it in P2. So already we're starting to see a little bit of it, right? So we got club face pointing down to the ground, which is okay, but again, ideally I like to see club head kind of parallel to the spine here, which it kind of is, so really not too bad at this point. Definitely hasn't churned enough for my liking at this point, but we're not going to get into that yet. We can definitely start seeing right wrist going into extension type look. Left wrist is pretty flat here, so nothing too crazy. We get him up to the top, though. You guys are already going to kind of start seeing it right here. He's got that DJ look, except for without the flexion of the wrist. So club face is pointing up to the sky. We can see it right here in this little window. Club face pointing way up to the sky. So he's got a really shut face. And the interesting fact is, if we take a look at his left wrist, or lead side wrist, there's no flexion there. So he's got a flat wrist while he's doing that. That just shows me the player's got a super strong grip. So what this player does in the downswing to compensate for that is he gets hand path dropping a little bit vertically. Let's kind of draw. Again, this line that I'm about to draw isn't going to be super accurate, again, because the camera angle's off, but you guys can kind of get an idea what hand path is doing. So it's dropping a little bit below that, so kind of traces on it for a little bit, then drops a little bit below it. Shaft is a little steep here. Everything that he's about to do from here is just trying to make sure the ball doesn't go left. So he's standing up the handle, he's stopping the body, he's getting the handle high, which points face more right. He's also trying to swing, do everything, kind of early extend a little bit, get everything to make sure that club face is traveling just a touch bit more right, getting that face signal pointing more right. He's also using what we call strike, so he's hitting off the toe, which then twists the face open even more. See how that club goes from this position to this position? That's because he's hitting it off the toe. So he's using strike, he's using his body in terms of early extension, he's using getting that high handle look, which points face right. Everything about this swing is trying to hold off this face to make the ball not go left. And he's still, even though he kind of hits it off the toe, opens that face a little bit, but he's still got a little bit of that draw spin. I can't tell, just because the ball kind of goes out of frame here, it looks like it might be cutting maybe? I don't know. Maybe just a touch bit of cut. Also, we don't know where wind's blowing either, so that's not really too relevant there as well. But I can see how this player is definitely, from what he sent me, I can see how he's struggling with hitting the ball consistently, contact-wise, not hitting the ball way off to the left, and then I can also see some big blocks coming in because of all these things. So first off, I didn't get the face-on view from this player, else I'd be playing that as well. But we got to change this guy's grip. If you're at the top of the swing, or P4, and your club face looks like, let me get up there, your club face looks like this, pointing up to the sky, and your lead wrist is flat like this and not in flexion, then you got a super strong grip. So we either got to get still in the fingers, correct? So I still want him to grip it in the fingers predominantly, get that perpendicular angle in the fingers along the digits, close up the hands. But I want the V that's created between the pointer finger and thumb. I'm going to want that V pointing up, the left hand V for him is going to be pointing up at from the player's view, not our view looking at him, but from the player's view looking forward. It's going to be pointing at the left side of the neck, so the left part of the neck, and then his right hand V is going to be pointing pretty much at the neck as well. That's actually kind of a really weak grip, but that's going to kind of, if he keeps wrist angles and he gets that weaker grip, that's going to allow him to get club face working a little bit better, which is going to get him, it's going to make a little bit more sense for him to start wanting to get a little bit of a release, get rid of this kind of little chicken wing, kind of start extending ideas, hopefully getting the club shaft to work better from there. You never know, but realistically what it's going to do short term is it's going to allow him to get a little bit more height on his ball, because he says he hits a little bit of a low ball. It's going to allow him to get the confidence of not having to fight everything from going left, so he's going to get a little bit more club head speed from it as well. Now from there, that's the short-term fix, right? Just fixing club face. Hopefully swing will kind of work itself out around that. If it doesn't, then there's a whole onslaught of things that could fix from there. I can always nitpick. Again, I can't draw angles here, so I'm not going to go too specifically into it. But in terms of the pivot, I would get right hip releasing a little bit more, getting a little bit more depth in this hip. And then at top of the swing, getting the left arm. Again, camera angle's off, guys, but this left arm's definitely above shoulder line. Getting left arm on shoulder line right here. Maybe getting the axis of the shoulders working a little bit better. And then kind of getting, once he gets his right hip releasing a little bit earlier, notice how his elbow's just a touch too far behind him. Once he gets face working a little bit better, he's not gonna want to get so trapped behind his body. He's not gonna get one of his hands falling behind his body, because then he's gonna just hit big blocks to the right. So to compensate for that, we're gonna have to get the right hip releasing a little bit earlier, which will then kind of get hand path and this elbow not quite so much retracting. He'll have a nice little soft fold, and it's going to keep hands a little bit more out in front of him, which is going to match that new kind of grip and that new club face position at the top. So anyways, guys, that's a quick little analysis. I wish I could go a little bit more in depth. Camera angle's not quite good, and then it's moving around a little bit, but I just kind of wanted to show you guys. I thought this was a pretty... this is definitely a common motion. It's less common than the slicer, for sure, but it's definitely common as well. So you'll see some players out there that just get such a shut face that they got to do everything they can with their body to try to make sure that thing just doesn't turn over left, and then the resulting factor is just inconsistent shots, and then you're not hitting a slice anymore, but you're just on the opposite side of bad. So anyways, guys, hopefully this helps.
Sorry if it's hard to catch my